Ah, riding a saber-toothed tiger, just like our ancestors did hundreds of years ago. Far Cry Primal is a really weird game because it's Far Cry. I mean, it has virtually identical physics and gameplay to the previous Far Cry games, but it takes place in prehistoric times, so you don't have the typical things you would in a Far Cry game. Like, you don't have guns, you don't have cars. Replaced by guns and cars are prehistoric kind of stone type weapons like spears and bows and clubs and torches. And replaced by cars are now animals you mount, which I'm pretty sure didn't happen. Let me check Wikipedia. I wonder when we made that transition from riding saber-toothed tigers to horses. It's an interesting change of pace from typical open world Far Cry games, but at the same time, it's not as good as a Far Cry game that's open world and takes place in modern times. While mounting giant, dangerous predators is cool at first, it doesn't quite have the same fun feel as the driving in previous Far Cry games. I think mostly because Far Cry has probably the best driving simulations I've ever played in a game that's not like a racing game. And the animal husbandry doesn't just stop with mounts, you can also tame animals to fight for you, like, I guess, primal Pokemon. The story is pretty basic, but that's kind of expected in a story that takes place, you know, whatever, 10, 20,000 years ago. It's like, this is my land, no, this is my land, let's kill these guys, and let's have our civilization prosper. Basically, there's a bunch of these humanoids that are evil and like kill and maim and eat other humanoids. And then there's, I guess, us, the Homo sapiens, and they just want to expand and live peacefully and build Starbuckses and Walmarts everywhere, and then enslave all other animals and cut down the trees and have constant war. You know, the peaceful humanoids. In the game, you basically run around, you complete quests for these cave people, like save some cave people, or get something, or kill like some kind of dangerous wolf or tiger that's been harassing the population in a specific area. You take over enemy strongholds and you just progress, moving from the beginning of the map and trying to unlock everything around you, which is pretty much identical to the other open world Far Cry games. The game has a cool day and night mechanic. During the night, you definitely need a torch because animals are pretty quick to attack, especially predators. And I mean, it's no picnic during the day either. It's always kind of a grind for survival. Animals still attack, and you also have to keep in mind that you're not just fighting animals, you're fighting like evil humanoid tribes. The combat is pretty satisfying when it works right. Like when you sneak around an enemy village and kill a bunch of bad guys via stealth, it's very satisfying. When you throw like a spear through someone's chest, or you shoot a bow at a bad guy coming at you and you know you hit him from far away, these are also satisfying things to do in the game. But the combat can get pretty tedious when you're fighting really elite animals like a really giant bear or a really giant saber-toothed tiger, just because they take so many hits and they're so fast. It's hard to beat them. Well, it's pretty much almost impossible to beat some of these animals without a big supply of green health potions or whatever, green health leaves. It's basically fighting like a boss in an MMORPG, except you don't have like a tank, a damage dealer, and a healer. You have to be all three at the same time. The graphics and the physics, well, it's like 90% of the rest of the game. It's pretty much identical to every other open world Far Cry game. If you're a fan of Far Cry, this is a cool game to check out. Not just because it's a lot like normal Far Cry games, but also it's a nice change of pace from typical Far Cry games. So if you just have to play every Far Cry game, this one will, I guess, be a breath of fresh air, if you will. If you're not that much into Far Cry, or this is going to be your first Far Cry game, I definitely wouldn't recommend starting here, because it might leave a bad taste in your mouth. This is not as good as some of the really good Far Cry games. This is something basically for the hardcore Far Cry fans. It gets an official stanburdman rating of an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my friends.
Hurry!